Hey there, what is happening YouTube? Thanks for stopping back into the channel today, right here with the Rust Belt Mechanic. So today I've got this gorgeous 47 Willys in here that I'm just doing a little bit of work on, but no, that's not really what I'm going to be talking about tonight. I'm going to be covering a couple of topics on making more money for technicians because I've been getting a whole lot of questions about it lately, and I want to give you guys some pointers on how to ask for money as an automotive technician in today's world. So one of the most asked questions that I've been getting lately is, I don't know if I'm making enough money. I want to know how to get more money as a technician. Now, this is kind of a hard thing to ask yourself because there's so many different things going on within the automotive world, lots of geographic issues and lots of different training aspects. You might think about where you're at in your career, just a whole slew of things. So we're going to start at some of the basics and work our way from there to give you guys kind of an idea. So when techs ask me about being able to make more money in their shop, I always first have to ask them is about the metrics of their situation. Now when I'm talking about metrics, I'm talking about the different situation that they're in and how they quantify both themselves and the kind of work and amount of work that they're doing. So the very first thing that I need to ask, and you need to ask yourself, is pretty much what level of a technician are you? There's all different kinds, A techs, B techs, C techs, diagnosticians, tire changers, suspension specialists. They just, you know, the realm is massive on that one. And you also have to think about what kind of a market you're in. If you're in a place with a whole lot of high volume, you guys are doing a whole lot of oil changes, the dealership or the shop that you're working at is going to be looking at shop efficiency and your own personal efficiency pretty much above a lot of the other metrics that you might be taking into account. You might be a great diagnostician, you might be awesome at looking at suspension work and doing electrical stuff, but if you can't get your jobs done efficiently and really make the hours and turn them under flat rate that the shop is looking to be able to do, then they're going to kind of skirt over you for other bonuses or being able to move up within the company. Now, if you're in a place where you are a technician at a dealership, a lot like I am, and you're doing a whole lot of big trucks, diagnostic work, transmission, electrical specialists, they're going to be looking at FFV or fixed first visit scores in the dealership world, what we kind of consider it. They're going to be taking that into massive consideration because if they don't have these scores and numbers for the dealership in the way of fixed first visit scores, customer satisfaction scores, whatever you may call it, then they're not going to get bonuses as a dealership, and they're not going to be able to get all kinds of discounts on parts and different programs and whatnot. So you have to be absolutely accurate in what you're doing for the kind of jobs that you're getting done. Also, it's way more important to get 100% efficiency and getting everything correct the first time rather than trying to bust out 70, 80 hours. Then, you know, obviously dealerships like that one too, don't get me wrong, but if you have 4 or 5 comebacks out of that, it's a massive headache and they really don't want to like it. So once you understand the metrics of kind of what kind of jobs you're doing, what you can do, what you can't do, and what kind of hours you're doing, from that point you can work on how valuable you are to the company that you work for. And you could ask your manager on how you're doing and everything like that. But I always tell the guys who are asking me these questions and going into the meeting wanting more money to have all the numbers and all the metrics on your side of the table before you go into that meeting. Now, what does that mean? That means you, the technician, need to be keeping track of everything that you're doing. Be honest with yourself and exactly what you're doing in the way of hours, how many comebacks you're having, the fixed first visit scores, and the efficiency that you're doing within the shop. Have those as arrows in your quiver to be able to ask for that higher paycheck or more money within the company. Now you need to take those metrics and you need to have those written down and go into the meeting with your manager. Now don't be like, oh, I need a meeting, I need more money, or else my toolbox has wheels, it's going to roll its way on out the back. Don't go into a meeting like that. Trust me, it never goes well. You need to ask your boss, ask the manager, whatever it may be in your situation, about having a meeting and going over some of the different things that you've been doing for the shop lately. Make sure to point out any certifications you have, point out any other special things that you've done in the shop for the shop. If you fix any of the equipment, if you're not asking for a whole lot extra, when you do those kinds of things around the shop, if you're working flat rate, then make sure to bring those up. Like I said, the better that you make yourself look, the better you're gonna look on paper, and the more valuable you're gonna look to the company. So if you're gonna come in here and say, hey, I'm here for 42 hours a week, and I am doing on average 50 to 52 hours per week, just consistently across the board. Look at your old paychecks. I'm doing a fixed first visit score of 99%, so just that one out of every once in a blue moon kind of pops through there. Nobody's perfect, me included. Trust me on that one. Be honest with yourself on that one. Don't make yourself try to look better than you actually are, because then it's just a big crash and burn situation from that point. So bring those metrics to the table. Say, I'm doing this many hours, I've got this much fixed first visit score, I'm doing this kind of stuff around the shop, and therefore I think I am worth a little bit more. Maybe bring up that they haven't done any kind of peer reviews or anything in the most recent history, and you kind of wanted to bring this up to be able to get more of an idea of what your manager or what your service manager thinks about what you're doing in the shop as well. Like I've said in other videos, you always have to be bettering yourself for your certain career that you have, and what better way to do that than ask your manager, ask your peers on how you're doing. They need to give you feedback on what you're doing. It's a two-way street. Make the conversation back and forth between you and the manager. It'll feel more conversative between the two of you, and it'll actually go better in the long run. The last thing that I'm going to have to say is don't ask for the moon. When you're going into these meetings, you need to bring up the point, like I said, of having these metrics and being able to talk to the manager back and forth and bringing up peer review maybe into the future. You could say, maybe I'm going to be asking for this much more money based off of the performance that I've had, and also based off of what I'm going to do over the next 6 months. Set up that next time, set up that next meeting to be able to say, I want to see how I'm doing in another 6 months. If we could set up, to be able to have another review in that amount of time and to see how I'm doing and to see what kind of return you're getting for your money's worth on paying me more money. Make your manager feel as though you're trying to better yourself, trying to better the dealership or whatever organization you're working for, and that you're going to be worth that in the future, not that you want to be stagnant, that you want to work forward and better yourself going forward in your career. To be totally honest, there is no real perfect situation in which to ask for more money and yet keep yourself humble enough for the shop that you're working in. It's going to be a little bit different in everybody's situation. But the biggest point that I want to get across is to be able to have the metrics on your side when you're going to your manager, asking for that raise or asking, to do something more or better within the shop. If you're looking for maybe a better position or a different position, make sure you bring all those numbers so you make yourself look fairly well and that you want to do well in the future. So tell you what, let's get a little bit of a conversation going in the comments as well. I want to hear what you guys have to say about getting a raise within your field. Here in the automotive industry, the diesel industry, heavy truck, whatever it may be. Is it getting more certifications? Is it, threatening to leave? Or what has gotten you the most money? Now, yes, there are some bad situations also in which you may be deserving more money and they just don't want to give it up. I don't like to say that that is a majority of the time nearly at all, but it does happen sometimes, and that's the odd situation in which you kind of have to judge for yourself and figure out that your toolbox does have wheels and there may be a better, brighter side to your future at another dealership or another shop. So let's leave those comments down below. Let's hear what you guys have to say about moving forward in your career, asking for more money, and if you guys have luck and any kind of tips to be able to leave for each other, let's leave that, because who knows, you might come up with something a little bit better than I've got and you can help each other out. Well, what I'm really hoping for is that the weather warms up. I know I'm inside my shop right now and it is kind of heated, but man, is it expensive to heat these days. So it's still pretty freaking cold here in Ohio. I'm hoping it warms up. The more it warms up, the more videos I'm going to be able to get to doing here in the shop and around the property, hopefully getting to do more great things. Now here in the next week or two, I'm going to be doing a really fun trip up to Wisconsin, Ryan's Diesel Service and Kodiak Truck. We're going to be talking with Mark and Ryan up there because the Duramax has had some issues and I may or may not have blown up the transmission in it. So we've got a full transmission build with billet parts, all kinds of awesome goodies coming down the pipeline. So make sure you stay tuned into that one if you're loving the Duramax content, or if in general you just want to see some really heavy line repair and full transmission build on an Allison 1000 trans for the big 750, 800 horsepower Duramax. I'm pretty excited about this one, and you guys should be too. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell notification right there, right down below, so you get notified when I come out with cool, awesome content, just like this one here today. Thanks, and as always, guys, you guys stay awesome.